So if you're using Claude or ChatGPT, you may be wondering what is the best Obsidian file structure and folder structure for you to use. In this video, I'm going to look at a few of the ones that I've tried and give you my perspective on what has worked and what hasn't worked. I'm first going to start off with the famous Karpathy system. So the Karpathy system, also known as the Karpathy Wiki system. The Wiki system was made very popular, went viral, and the whole idea is that you upload folders into a raw folder. So you upload files and folders into a raw folder. This could be like book PDFs, it could be meeting notes, it could be anything, right? And then you ask Claude or ChatGPT to digest it into the wiki, right? Then it builds a wiki essentially of interconnected notes, right? So for example, you can see this, it's taken it from a blog post or a book that I had, and then it's created it and done all this. So better I actually show you how it works rather than explain it. So as an example, let's say I paste in a book note, right? So this book note is simply like a bunch of excerpts I had from the Amazon Kindle book, The Coming Wave, right? So an AI book, it's all about AI, and you can see the different quotes that I've highlighted here. So I've pasted that into the raw folder, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Claude to ingest this. So ingest this book note and create all the relevant links. And what it's going to do is it's going to run through this ingest skill. And what it's going to do is it's first going to look through the index. And the index is like an index that it automatically creates every time that you upload files or create things. And it's essentially just a running log of all the different files and folders that you have. So you can see here, there's a whole bunch which are on concepts, on design, on the posts that I've uploaded, concepts from different organizations, agent systems. These are all entities that Claude has created for me just by processing things I've uploaded into the raw folder. So you can see now that I've uploaded this, it's looking at the various relevant insights from books like Purple Cow. It's looking at the Seth Godin page that I have. It's also looking at various other Kindle highlights. You can see now here it has created the author page as well as the book note page, right? So you can see here is the page that it's created, and it's created it with all the right properties, and it's got the key insights, and it's even linked it then to the other relevant notes within the wiki, simply because it's looked through that index and seen what is relevant, right? So it's very cool. And you take it then further, you can ask it for like insights. So for example, you could ask it for looking at the Coming Wave book note, what are the key insights that I could apply to myself and my YouTube channel or my career? And then it's again going to look through the index, it's going to see the description, it's going to see relevant materials, and it's going to apply those insights to your situation in your life. So this is the power of using like a wiki, like a Karpathy Wiki system here. Reasons why I moved away from it was that I felt it less suited towards projects. Now you can create outputs, you can say read these things and create this, etc. But it's just like less like OS, like less operating system, and probably more like as an information knowledge base, I found. Also, because everything is very much done by AI, a lot of the writing is not really in my own words, right? I just felt like it was always like an AI. And sometimes I'd be reading these and I'd be like feeling like I'd been reading them for the first time. Right, because I obviously didn't write this, and to be honest, like I've just let the AI just create all of the connections and everything like that as well. So after this, the next system that I used was a folder-based system where I actually gave each of the areas of my life a folder. So you can see I have my BBG, so my ecom startup here, I've got the creator stuff, I've got my 9-to-5 job inside of one, I've got life tropics. So all the different big areas of my life got their own folders, and they had their own tailored folders denoting the different departments, etc. You can see my YouTube has the actual folder structures of the different areas of post-production. And also inside I had client folders, etc. Life tropics had so the various folders there that I required. And to be honest, this is also, it was quite good and it felt quite organized. Everything had its own place. However, I didn't like that different areas of the vault weren't uniform in their structure and templates and things like that. Right, things were very bespoke all over the place, and I could see it starting to get a bit out of control. So I eventually moved away from this folder system, although there are certain aspects of it that I thought were quite good, especially with the creator side of things, like having posts go from folder to folder. I felt like that worked quite well with an agent, right? And this brings me now to the file and folder structure that I currently adopt right now, which is the Jonathan Brain, which basically is, instead of having the folders denoting the areas of my life, instead I have the folders denoting the type of the file, right? So you can see I have various folders and files types. And what I might do is actually might just switch to this starter OS, which I released, which shows a basic version of this just so that you can understand the system without me showing you a very advanced version of it. But you can see essentially there's several folders, one for organizations, one for people, one for projects, meetings, notes, system, right? So organizations, you can see are the companies that you work with. So Dell Computers. And then these are linked to other notes within the front matter properties. So you can see here, there's also linking to the people note. So Jackie Smith, it goes to the people note of Jackie Smith. You can see her front matter properties here, right? So you'd end up building a very large list of organizations, a very large list of people. So if I show you, actually, I've got a huge amount of organizations here. I'm going to blur this out, but this goes all the way down. And it's the same with people. It's all the people that I've met in my life, right? So it's very comprehensive. And also, as well as this, I have meetings all going in a meetings folder. So anytime I have a meetings, whether it's in the world of Insider, so my 9-to-5 job, or if it's in the world of BBG, my ecom startup, if I'm meeting a supplier, all of these meetings are now going into the meetings folder, right? And it's just being denoted within the front matter as to what company it's working with, and what area of my life it is part of. And again, this is super agent friendly. Agents will come in and they'll read this. You can ask it, like, for example, what are the meetings that I've had with Acme? And it's going to look through this. It's going to pull this in. So let me demonstrate. What are the meetings I've had with Acme and what tasks do I have? And what it's going to do is it's going to look through the front matter properties, right? So it's going to use the Obsidian CLI, which is a skill which allows Claude and Codex to read Obsidian really well, and it's going to see again the connections between all the different notes. So if I open this up, I look at this, the graph view, you can see that everything's connected together. And if I open up the one in my actual real vault, let me show you how crazy that looks. So if I open this and actually open up my brain, so you can see this is what it looks like, right? It's just like a mass of notes interconnected all together. So going back into Claude, you can see it's now looking through the vault, it's checking Acme, listing meetings and searching for Acme references. And you can see it's looking at the related notes here. So it's looked up Acme, it's found a relevant meeting note, it's looked through my task list, it's looked through the organization note, it's looked through the project, right? So these are all the interconnected notes, and it's pulled in this information for me, right? So it shows you the power of this kind of structure, where instead of using folders to hold everything, now you're using the actual front matter properties to link it to other notes. So it allows Claude, it allows ChatGPT or Codex to traverse the graph, right? Those interconnections that you saw. And so far, this is the method that I'm currently using right now. I'm using this to basically manage about 50 clients. I'm using it to manage my ecom businesses and also log things in my personal life, etc. So I'm finding this to be the current optimal method. I find that the interconnectedness of the notes is very powerful. And just tiptoeing into some of the more advanced things that I'm doing now, for example, is that I have also work streams. So these are also all the projects within all the different clients that I have. These are now work streams. All of the to-dos that I have are now in actions as single to-do notes. And again, like, I'm asking Claude to actually create all of these for me. And finally, I've set up like automations, right? These include, for example, daily tasks, daily morning briefs, weekly digests, etc. So these are recurring things that get presented to me using the information from this Obsidian Vault, which is updated. And I've built connections as well. So all the connections are listed within a connections.md. So these include Slack connections, Gmail connections, Google Calendar connections. So all of this information is coming in and refreshing the information within the vault, right? So all those organization notes, they're getting updated with the latest information based on the meetings that I have, based on the conversations going in Slack channels, etc., right? So the vault is being updated to like a real-time second brain, which I can then query, using Claude or Codex. So this is the current vault structure and the current way that I'm using Obsidian with Claude and Codex right now. And that's a quick comparison between some of the popular ways that people are using Obsidian vaults and also my take on how I've progressed through that right now.